3 weeks before my wedding, my sister Claire took my fiancé, married him in my dress, and my parents asked me not to make a scene. 4 years later, they invited me back to dinner like none of it had happened. This time I wasn't coming alone. Claire was always the one everyone protected. If I missed a family dinner because of work, Dad called me distant. I was expected to stay steady, solve problems. I missed swallow whatever made everyone else uncomfortable. The answer was always some version of, you know how your sister is. I thought that was normal. Then Ryan happened. A month before our wedding, my fiancé Ryan started showing up late to planning meetings. He skipped the food tasting. He stopped answering basic questions. Claire was suddenly around constantly. Then one Wednesday, Ryan came to my apartment and told me he couldn't marry me. He said he was confused. Then he said Claire's name. 10 minutes later, she texted, I didn't plan this, but we're in love. I hope you understand someday. The next morning, Mom called, not to ask if I was okay. Please don't ruin this for Claire, she said. She's always needed your support. Dad told me hearts changed and I needed to be mature. 6 weeks later, Claire and Ryan got married. She wore the dress I had chosen with our grandmother. Same venue, same florist. My mother posed beside her like everything had gone exactly according to plan. That was when I stopped calling it one terrible mistake. I broke my lease, took leave from work, changed my number, and left. No goodbye speech. I was tired of explaining pain to people who found it inconvenient. Months later, I started volunteering at a community center helping women rebuild after abuse and displacement. I had worked in nonprofit strategy, so I helped with grants and programs. That was where I met Daniel, the veteran program coordinator who later became my husband. He had commanded an intelligence unit overseas and now worked with veterans. He was quiet and unimpressed by family theater. He never asked me to forgive anyone. He never told me to be the bigger person. We built a nonprofit together. Then, slowly, we built a life. When Daniel proposed, it was on our porch with a ring tied to an old dog tag chain. No audience. I said yes. My family had no idea. 2 years later, an invitation arrived for my father's 70th birthday dinner. Family only. My name was printed by itself, no +1. I nearly threw it away. Instead, I asked Daniel to come. At dinner, nothing had changed. Same Claire making every conversation bend toward her. She looked me over and smiled. You look rested. Solitude suits some people. Mom stared at her plate. Dad cleared his throat. Ryan studied his water glass. I sat down and left the chair beside me empty. No one asked where I had lived or what I had done. Dad gave a toast. Mom asked Ryan about work. Then the door opened. A former serviceman near the entrance stood when he saw Daniel and greeted him as commander. Claire's hand stopped halfway to her wine. Daniel walked over, took the empty chair beside me, and rested one hand against my back. This is my wife, he said. That was it. No speech. No grand reveal. My mother blinked. My father stared. Ryan went pale. Claire recovered first. So what's it like being a commander's wife? She asked. Do you polish medals and make inspirational speeches? I smiled. I help run a trauma recovery nonprofit. We work on transitional housing and veteran reintegration. Her smile tightened. Then she said, funny, you disappear for years and come back expecting everyone to be impressed. Daniel shifted beside me, but I touched his hand. I didn't need rescuing. I didn't disappear, I said. I stopped showing up where I wasn't respected. The table went quiet. Claire laughed. You always were dramatic. I looked at her. You married my fiancé in my wedding dress, and Mom called me the next morning to make sure I didn't upset you. We've stretched the definition of dramatic pretty far. Mom finally spoke. That's not fair. I took out my phone and opened the one message I had never deleted. Claire's text from the night Ryan left me. I didn't plan this, but we're in love. I hope you understand someday. I set the phone on the table between us. No, I said. This is what happened. Nobody touched it. For once, nobody told me I remembered it wrong. We left before dessert was finished. At the door, Mom called my name, but I kept walking. An apology after 4 years wouldn't change what they chose when it mattered. Back home, Daniel made tea while I changed. My phone buzzed 3 times on the counter. Mom, Dad, Claire. I turned it face down, slid the deadbolt into place, and left it there.